All right. I think it started. All right.
I can't tell because the mic's plugged.
Mic's the thing. Mudita Hard here.
I see that red. Okay, PRpHD here.
And we're here to review... Am I bleeding? No, it just looks really red on the camera.
I think I am bleeding. So.
This is where the bleeding review.
I'm just with steaming water over them, actually. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're here to review Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And we're about to turn into some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I don't know if we're gonna turn into Mutant Ninja Turtles right now. Oh yeah, pass me my hat. I always forget that nowadays.
Oh, Kermit. Good.
And this is the latest movie called Mutant Mayhem that's in theaters right now. We just saw it on this past Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday or Monday, I forget. Tuesday? Monday Tuesday, was Labor Day, and then Tuesday we saw it.
Yeah.
And I was on vacation.
Yeah.
And saw it out at a local theater with a Regal Unlimited. We kind of had like low expectations going into it.
I felt like you had high expectations for it.
I guess I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I knew my friends liked it. I knew one friend had watched it by himself because he was interested in the animation style. Then he watched it with like his mom because she was like, "Oh, that sounds good." And then his brother was like, "Oh, I want to watch it too." And then he watched all three of them together.
It's like the Michael Pena Ant-Man explanation of that.
Yeah. So yeah. We watched it a bunch of times, and then someone else watched it. Seemed like something that was like pretty. I don't know. There's not much else going on in theaters right now other than Barbie and Oppenheimer, and we already watched those.
Let me put it this way: you haven't watched Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, so that was out this year, and it was done by Paramount and whatever, and Hasbro, whatever. How do you think that compares with TMNT Mutant Mayhem without watching it?
Without watching it, I feel like I wouldn't know what to expect. If I didn't watch it, I was like, maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a chance of being more interesting because I knew my friends watched it.
Yeah.
But Rise of the Beasts, I'm like, the Transformers franchise already has like a low share price in my estimation because of like having watched like the Shia LaBeouf movies and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. But that being said, I was very pleasantly surprised by this movie, and maybe we'll check out the trailer for it before we talk about it further.
Yeah, TMNT as a franchise seems like it's done better outside the second Michael Bay one. Yeah.
TMNT?
Yeah.
Oh, that was also done by Michael Bay?
Yeah, there's like two ones that sort of like Steve Urkel or whatever, like you were saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I don't really know that much about the TMNT movies and franchise and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we could get into that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's check out the trailer for this latest TMNT movie.
Yeah.
Which I guess you'll just watching the trailer you'll get some idea of what to expect. So let's check it out.
Plus your stealth and cunning to infiltrate the human world and retrieve Goldberg.
Oh yeah, you missed this part.
Yeah, I was wondering how much of this is actually the movie.
Yeah, this is in the first scene or whatever. Seth Rogen.
But Seth Rogen, really big.
I don't know. Yeah. Also, you missed this part. But like before the movie started, they had Seth Rogen show up, and he's like,
"Oh, I saw Seth Rogen."
And he was like, "Hey, everybody! I just want to say we had a really good time making this movie. It's an amazing movie. So glad you could see it." I don't know why they did Seth Rogen to like
produce
this movie. It's like, why is that necessary? He also seemed like he was like, "Hey, I'm here." I don't know why it's like, oh yeah, now I feel ready to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now I know Seth Rogen.
You went from like the creator of like Shin Ultraman to like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, it's not. I don't know how it's setting the scene. He also didn't really say anything of value, really. I don't know, but that was like part of the movie experience. Yeah, they made a big deal about it.
Probably what happened in the Paramount Plus version.
Yeah, I guess the teenage. Anyway, we'll talk about the casting later and stuff. But he's in the movie. Also, a lot of people you might recognize. Also, a couple people you might not recognize. But yeah, we'll get into that more later. So.
Tell me more. It's effortlessly cool and visually stunning.
That's very good.
The movies this year.
It is very visually stunning. That's pretty true.
That seems very dangerous.
You eat danger for breakfast.
Actually, I eat pizza with bits of waffles on it.
The funniest cast ever assembled.
Surprise!
Jeff Rowe.
Good
There you go.
Oh, Post Malone. That's cute.
Lock and load.
We're the only ones who can do this.
I'm awesome.
We're brothers. We fight together. We're just getting started.
So,
One thing I want to mention is that they definitely chose Jackie Chan for a reason.
I do?
Yeah.
I do. Oh, I sound like such a leader.
And you ruined it.
A couple reasons, actually.
for a couple reasons, yeah. There's quite...
Don't let any human see you.
It's very interesting because we just watched a Rush Hour later.
Yeah.
Exclusively in movie theaters. August 2nd. Get your tickets now.
So, yeah. Clap. Alright. I didn't watch any trailers going into this movie.
Right.
But
Yeah, they just seem to have a strong marketing campaign, and I think that really hurt the box office budget.
yeah, because I didn't know what to expect with this movie at all. I was like, oh, it's just another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Like, I don't really have like a high bar for this franchise in general.
You know anything about TMNT? I think basically.
Not really. I mean, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Like, you know, I watched the cartoons growing up, and they didn't really leave that much of an impression on me. You know, I played the arcade games. I like those. Those are pretty fun, but you know, they weren't like, I didn't really think of them as like these like meaningful stories or anything.
Yeah.
And you know, I've watched multiple different TV shows. I saw a live action show with like people in like costumes and stuff, and with the Venus de Milo and stuff. Like, I don't know, I watched all these things.
TMNT, PRpHD,
Right.
yeah.
Right. But none of them really left a huge impression on me, to be honest. I've seen so many different... It's this franchise that just keeps coming back.
They have nothing interesting to say.
And, like, what's there to... I mean, it's an action series. It's awesome. You buy a lunchbox. You know? I don't know. But I did see a YouTube video that explained the original graphic novelists who like developed the franchise and like how they kind of just rose up, like from like were self-made comic artists who like really rose up to like make this franchise, and then it became this phenomenon. But I don't know.
This is really weird. So I've watched a lot of tokusatsu, and you know PRpHD and everything. Would you consider like tokusatsu as a higher bar than TMNT in your opinion? Outside of this movie?
Like when I started watching like Shin Kamen Rider, Shin Ultraman, Kamen Rider Black Sun, probably at that point before I saw this movie,
maybe Time Ranger or something.
Yeah, I felt like it held a higher esteem.
Like TMNT,
I had very low expectations, and like even with the stuff my friends are saying, I was like, oh yeah, you should actually see it. The animation style is really good. The dialogue is really naturalistic and like captures what teenagers talk like. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not sure what to expect. Like, is it going to be like a cheap kind of thing or whatever? Is it going to be like the Mario movie or whatever? We haven't reviewed that yet. Yeah. But is it going to be like that? I don't really know what to expect. But I was like pleasantly surprised overall by this movie.
The action was interesting. The art design's polarizing. In terms of authorship, like, they wanted it to be that specific way, and it fits the mood of like that whole Miami aesthetic, even though it's like in New York. But like, if you don't like it, it's probably gonna not make you want to watch the movie.
Yeah, they have a very distinct art aesthetic for animated aesthetic for this movie. Yeah. It's very stylized, very much like a graphic novel come to life kind of style. Like it's like seems to be some kind of like 3D animation combined with cell shading post processing effects of some kind. Computer-generated post-processing effects, and yeah, it kind of like captures a style that makes it look like it's like pages from like a graphic novel or something. I think that was like the very first thing that caught my eye about this movie. I didn't watch any trailers, and then when I started watching the first couple minutes, I'm like, wow, this is really a stark design choice here.
How would you rate this over Elemental and the Mario movie?
I think it's like, yeah, compared to those, this is a more bold, kind of artistic visual artistic direction. I could picture like a bunch of like students at like art schools being like, wow, this is fascinating. I can't believe they're doing this. Whereas like Pixar, they kind of have their thing down. They have they have a look going on, and like DreamWorks, they kind of have a look going on. This is like going in a more different direction. It also kind of reminds me of they took a bit of a risk with it. Reminds me of the Spider-Verse movies in more ways than one. Not just in terms of the art style, but also in terms of like the kind of like New York City culture that they're portraying.
Oh, that's what I mean. I've heard talking about multiverses,
and also the action and stuff. But yeah, the choreographed sequences and like that.
Let's see. I thought the story for Elemental was probably the best for the animated films this year.
Right.
Then this one, and then the Mario movie.
Yeah.
I think there was Mario movie was just like a Lord of the Rings thing. Yeah, there wasn't that much in terms of like social commentary or anything.
I'm trying to find which studio did this. I'm kind of confused, honestly.
Let's not tell them which studio did this.
Why is it so hard to find?
It's probably just the director's art style or something, I would imagine. I don't know.
TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Try to avoid spoilers. Reboot of this franchise. Characters. Nickelodeon, right. This was Nickelodeon under Point Grey Pictures.
Point Grey Pictures, interesting.
Right.
Based on that font looks very interesting.
Named after Vancouver's Point Grey Secondary School where Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg had met. Oh, okay.
Seth Rogen's Canadian?
I guess so, yeah. Whoops. Canadian actor, comedian, and filmmaker. Wow.
I have no idea.
Wow. We're just like soaking up all the great Canadian people.
So he was supposed to play Steve Wozniak in Steve Jobs?
I guess so, huh?
Steve Wozniak was Canadian, I guess?
Yeah, here's Evan Goldberg. Yeah, Point Grey. They did The Disaster Artist, Long Shot, Joyride.
Yeah.
Sausage Party was made one of their previous animated films. The Interview. Okay, don't sue me. Don't threaten me. Oh, Where's Waldo is coming up by this studio. Invincible. It's by the comics. Okay. Entitled Mutant Mayhem sequel.
I guess Seth Rogen's more of a voice actor / producer at this point.
Well, look at this. Entitled Figment film. For Walt Disney.
I didn't hear about that. Interesting.
Wow. You didn't hear about this coming out?
I know I'm Figment PhD, right?
I heard about Figment, the Figment movie, but I didn't know it was being done by Point Grey. Like,
are they actually going to have Monty Python and the Dreamfinder show up?
That'd be interesting. You mean like what's his face?
Like Figment's such a thing that you figure would actually be a movie, but at the same time he's been a theme park only thing for such a long time. You figure he wouldn't be a movie. But there you go.
What's Eric Idle? Right, Eric Idle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and when Eric Idle's asked about what's the question again?
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like they asked Eric Idle if, what did you think about your appearance in the Figment attraction and the Imagination Institute in Disney? He's like, I never worked on that. It's like, it seems like Eric Idle forgot that he worked on.
So like, what do you call it?
What's his face?
The guy,
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp. He didn't realize he worked. He's like, I'd love to be in a Marvel Cinematic Universe film someday. He doesn't even remember he was in it. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like, these actors are doing so many things, and they're often in such small roles that don't take that much time in their busy schedule. They're like, they just forget about it. Like, you know, like
they have better stuff to do.
Or like, I don't know, like if you were to do like things in a given year, how many of them do you actually remember distinctly or whatever? And if people were to quiz you about like that time you did that one thing, how accurate do you think it would be? Like if it was for something like 20 years ago, you know?
I think as a person who's going to a lot of conventions, they actually never remember any of their roles.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not obsessing over it, you know, like a big geek or whatever necessarily. Some of them might be. Like, I think Mark Hamill is a bit of a geek. Like,
I think Rob Paulson remembers all his roles.
Yeah, maybe it's because... But, like, you know, you also don't want to be an actor who's like, oh, I was in all these amazing roles. Let me tell you.
Also,
let me tell you more about this other stuff I was in.
Also, you don't want to be one of those actors who's like, I was in all these amazing roles. I don't... like, what's going on about my life?
I was the executive producer of Mutant Mayhem. How come nobody remembers me? You know, but I don't know. People leave an impact, and yeah, I think hopefully people do remember them. You know, but let me see. Where did we? So how did we get on this? Yeah, the cast and the animation style and the production company.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is part of Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And this is not tying in with the animated TV show, but it's still Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And also, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are also in like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
I don't know if this version is going to be in that or in the third kart racer.
Yeah. It seems like I don't know. TMNT is like I gotta stop saying the whole thing. It's exhausting to say the whole thing. TMNT, we'll say, was considered like a Nickelodeon franchise for the purposes of like these tie-in video games.
Some people call me by my real name on Twitch because like they think PRpHD is too many syllables.
Yeah,
but TMNT is only like one letter less than that.
I don't know. It's there's too many like sounds. Like even if it's like different syllables, like I don't know. Yeah, but well, my standard for TMNT is that I don't want to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so that's an upgrade. That's like that's like economizing it a little bit.
Remember like the 2000s theme, Teenage Mutant Turtles.
Should bring that up? I don't. I'm exhausted. Yeah, it's gonna be copyrighted too. But I mean, yeah, the visual style is very arresting in this. I feel like it can be divisive, but I think it's probably one of the most bold choices for this. That's obviously one of the big notes of this. And let me see. Here's our notes here. Let's go to the notes.
I forgot about the pop culture references.
Yeah, maybe like the next thing that comes to mind the most is the writing and the dialogue. And I don't even necessarily mean the plot entirely, because the plot is like, you know, is its own thing. It has like Pixar-like elements, actually. You'd be surprised. But the rapid-fire dialogue is kind of like DreamWorks, where they're making pop culture references. But it's not like, you know, they're doing it with like a smirk and stuff, where it's like super cheesy. It's like more naturalistic. It's more like how teenagers or people in real life are talking about pop culture references, kind of free flowing and stuff.
Sort of reminds me of Turtles. Where like, you're Superman, eternal guy.
Yeah, except even more rapid fire than that. It's more effortless. It's more like they're actually, as if they're having like a bunch of 4 teenage brothers actually having like things that they all know and reference with each other that they're all up to speed with. It's not like it's a script that's written up by like Chloe Zhao and they're reciting it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it did feel like, even though there's 4 of them, like you see all the Teenage Mutant, the TMNT characters like jumping around and stuff. There I go saying it again.
Yeah.
But like they're jumping around and stuff. But I feel like when they were recording it, I feel that they were probably, all 4 of them were in the recording booth together when they're getting the dialogue, because it sounded like they all were reacting to each other in real time. That must have been the case, because like there's so much overlapping dialogue. There's so much like in real time reaction to each other's statements and stuff, and that happens like throughout the movie. And some parts are definitely more scripted when it follows the plot more strictly. But like sometimes when it's like their reactions, like, "Oh man, that was crazy! I can't believe we did that. That was an amazing thing." Like, what are you talking about, man? And they're all kind of collectively reacting, like almost like a more teenage, modern, contemporary version of like a Akira Kurosawa thing, where all the characters are reacting at the same time, or something like that, all coordinated. You know, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
how you can controls like the actors in the shots and stuff.
Right. It felt like that.
The director of photography and stuff.
Right. So yeah, this kind of captured like what one of my like buddies would say is like it actually does capture like an essence of like how teenagers would naturally talk compared to other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchises, which would like kind of like over-scripted or whatever,
So for teenagers, they made them look a lot younger. Like that's just how people have aged from the 80s.
Yeah, these look like they're 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds or something.
And they were like voice acted. I don't know if you've seen behind the scenes, but they're voice acted by like a bunch of like really young kids too, which is probably why they ended up talking like that.
Yeah, they sound like
how they
yeah, they don't sound like teenagers with Batitude and Mighty Morphin, where it's like literally a 33-year-old guy or whatever.
I'm like
who's like 6'9" or whatever, and like they or like but
I'm just saying like as a Power Rangers fan, thank goodness they didn't do that because like they tried doing that with like Mega Force and like Samurai. I was like they failed at capturing the same thing. And, like once they brought back like the original cast for like Once and Always, like those are the actors who could actually do that kind of stuff. While these other guys were just like not wannabes, but like they were trying to recreate the magic without the same like circumstances.
Right. Yeah. Are you talking about the Sorry, I was kind of like focusing on the screen, but like, were you talking about the chemistry between the actors and Mighty Morphin and stuff? Or?
Compared to like people, them trying to recreate it in the first earlier generations of Neo Saban,
Right. It's hard to really like. You just kind of have to have a feeling for it. Like it's an intuitive thing. On-screen chemistry. Kind of like we were just watching that video essay about Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker and stuff. That's like movie magic when you have a buddy cop thing or whatever.
You want to cast that. They look like they're friends and they're cast as friends, etc.
Yeah. So here we actually see them here, and here's the 4 of them. And if you actually look at the character like silhouettes and stuff, they actually look distinct here. Their character designs are actually like a little different. They don't actually look identical like they would in previous TMNT franchises where they just change the bandanas or whatever. Like they actually like this like Raphael's bigger, Michelangelo's smaller, Donatello's got glasses, Leonardo is maybe the more average one out of all of them. And they have different heights and shapes and sizes and different shaped heads and stuff. So, they actually changed the character designs. And here's like the different actors. Clearly, they're teenagers. They're not like 33-year-old people. And then also to note, April O'Neil is also a teenager in this one.
Yeah, like that's a big difference, yeah. It sort of felt like... I don't know if this is appropriate, but it sort of felt like, to me, like this is probably too exaggerated, but I felt it was like the Muppet Babies or like the Rugrats version of the TMNT or whatever.
Yeah, like they made them younger. I mean, they're not babies, like...
What the babies go through? What's up by Nickelodeon and the Nicktoons or whatever?
I mean, like, I feel like the appeal of like a baby franchise is like the appeal of like a of a pet franchise is like very novel because like, oh, look who's talking and stuff. But that's different. This is actual teenagers and stuff, and like characters are actually portraying something that fits their age group and stuff.
Whereas like in Mighty Morphin, they'd be like, I'm going to try to do a Stallone impersonation or something.
Yeah. And it doesn't come off as like these are like teenagers like writing, like being written as like how adults would write teenagers. Like it comes off as like, okay, this is actually...
It's not like Wes Anderson or whatever.
Yeah, it's like they're saying it as if they would actually say it in real life or something. It's believable. And I don't know. I don't know if we can get a clip that actually captures like the actual dialogue of it, but like the problem with this trailer that we just saw is that it shows
talk.
They don't talk, and they only talk in like the quippy sound bites that you would picture from like a DreamWorks movie, and like it doesn't quite capture how like actually like the dialogue is even. You gotta amp it up even like 11-fold or something. More quippy in a way that's good and naturalistic rather than like, well, looks like we did a good job here today, boys. Like, and and like perfect. Wow, that was perfect for the trailer. You know, like, but like yeah, it goes even further than that, and it's actually I think the dialogue is actually pretty good in this movie, and it's probably got some ad-libbing elements to it, and not just all scripted and stuff in between. But yeah, but yeah, maybe that's like another major element. Let me see. A couple directions we could go. The casting, the action, and the story with the X-Men like stuff.
The pop culture references. We forgot about the Jackie Chan and the whole like Shaw Brothers pop culture references.
Right. So,
and there's a comedy thing in the movie theater earlier on too.
Right. Should we say what that is or whatever?
It's on Pluto TV a lot now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all we need to say. Yeah.
You know, they show it.
Actually, it's very interesting.
They showed that movie, and there's a scene in this movie where they show a movie in like Brooklyn Bridge Park or something, and then in real life they showed the same movie in like a park in New York City in like September or something, in like early September.
Yeah.
The same movie. So it seemed like life imitates art, imitates life, or whatever.
They were mentioning the movie in the beginning of the film, and they're like, wouldn't it be great if life was like that, opposed to like how it is in real life, where like we're like these X-Men 2020s Kaijin and Kamen Rider characters?
Right, there are these outcasts who are these mutants who are different abilities, differently like faces and stuff like that, and it has all these allegories to like discrimination, just like X-Men did and stuff.
And that's why they have to learn all these like Jackie Chan improv moves, because like otherwise they'll just get beat up on the streets or whatever.
Right, and it has this like really unfortunate thing where it's like you know, they have to excel, they have to prove themselves, like in order to succeed in a world where you're, you know, not the dominant group, and like there's this form of discrimination that happens, that like in order to prove yourself you have to exceed everyone's expectations in order to be accepted and stuff. And that's kind of something that's like kind of taught for people in a lot of different cultures, especially in America, in a place like New York City and stuff like that. So, and I think that's kind of like the core of this movie, plot-wise, is like, you know, how do you react to this kind of like form of discrimination if you're a mutant or whatever? And you know, there's like this opposing stances, like X-Men, like the Charles Xavier, we must prove ourselves, we must do things the right way, versus the Magneto style of like, nah, man.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they definitely did that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, we're gonna be accepted, all right, but it's not because we're gonna.
They actually took that plot from the X-Men 2000 film. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, with Michael Fassbender and all that. You know?
No, the 2000 film with Ian McKellen and the Statue of Liberty, and how they're gonna make this machine to turn everyone into mutants.
Yeah, it's the same story over and over again, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it was like more like James Bond villain mutant thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna use the Statue of Liberty to turn everyone to mutants. Isn't that the story of like one of the Spider-Man movies too?
It's from the plot of this movie also. Like, since the Statue of Liberty, they
might as well use the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. They try not to be too cliche with like the TMNT stuff by not using the Statue of Liberty.
And we're going to use the Statue of Liberty this time. It's literally a million stories. Yeah, and so that's the core of the story. I think it does a pretty good job of that, and like believing, I don't know, trying to portray those different sides to the story. But and of course, like, you know, it doesn't get too controversial. Obviously, the Turtles are gonna be on the side of like, no, that's something about this doesn't seem right and stuff.
There was times where I thought I was gonna go like Invincible and like there'd be like something very violent, but it doesn't get that. Like, it doesn't get. It's not like sort of that. It doesn't get that bad. Yeah.
This is like
they use the word "kill" in it, but like
yeah,
it's not like
even though
they imply it's happened, but like you don't see it on screen.
Even though they're called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is like a PG movie. You know. Yeah. This is like a PG movie. Even though there's like kind of like, you know, with some of the bugs and stuff, there might be some gross out moments a little bit, but it doesn't get too bad.
Especially with Splinter and the wife or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah, the cockroach lady. That's very weird. Speaking of Splinter, let's talk about the action. Jackie Chan voice acts as Master Splinter in this, and he's the one that teaches the boys to not only fight and do kung fu and be ninjas and stuff through like a Shaw Brothers montage, literally watching Shaw Brothers movies. Yeah. But he's also their father figure in this. And that's kind of like the other dynamic.
I guess this is what they're doing with Jackie Chan now. They did that with him in Karate Kid, and now they're doing that with him in TMNT.
Because like
you've always like in real life, he's like what 60 years old or whatever. He's like your grandfather at this point.
Yeah, he's like the wise kung fu master, but now he's like reaching the point where he's like getting old enough to be like, not actually in good shape to do kung fu. That's why they brought him back in animated form, so he could do Jackie Chan style kung fu martial arts sequences in this movie. And like, there's one particular sequence where it's all about Splinter fighting by himself.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of like Jackie Chan kind of tropes and stuff like that. You can tell the animators are really like studying like the way he would fight in a typical Jackie Chan like scene where like there's fighting, there's improvised weapons, there's like kind of like comedy slapstick style stuff happening where he's like running around panicked, but then he turns around and like really gets the guy or whatever.
So it feels like the long lost episode of Jackie Chan Adventures or something.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, in a big way. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the other side is that he also gets to play his action chops as a father figure, where he's like trying to be protective of his teenage sons and stuff.
Like in that documentary with Jackie Chan, he talked about like how he wishes he was a better father, and because he was always like acting all the time, and it's very interesting that he's playing more father figure roles now.
Yeah, and now he gets to. Yeah, maybe he gets to show a different side to his acting chops, there's a different side to his personality. Maybe he's grown in a lot of ways and stuff too. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe in other ways, I don't know, politically, we won't get into that, but
also, I was also thinking like it's Ninja Turtles, albeit like there's more kung fu in it than ninja.
Yeah, they're not really ninjas, I guess, but it's more kung fu. And yeah, when we say Shaw Brothers style training montage, there's like literal stuff happening where it's like they're referencing Shaw Brothers training montage stuff. I don't know, you'll see. Yeah. So yeah, we pretty much covered
the multiple reasons why they got Jackie Chan.
And it's got a pro-social message, and it's like, they're trying to say that like most people want people to get along. I think that's the message they want. That's a safe message to say to kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't take anything in real life, so like it won't alienate like people on the left or the right that way.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to, I don't know, criticize this movie as being
some
woke.
Some people are going to do it anyway.
They're going to find something, because like I think particularly with the like how they casted. Animation-wise, April O'Neil.
So they actually did that, didn't they? I forgot about that one.
So they recast April O'Neil as like not only as a teenager but as a black girl in New York City, and like that's fine, obviously. But some people are gonna say, "Oh, this is like woke politics. Like, why do you gotta throw it down our throats and stuff?" But this is like how things are in New York City. There's people like this,
And it's
just representative of people in like a city.
One thing that's talked about less is that one of the Turtles is cast as a African American voice actor.
I mean, there's even two of them, but like it's not.
Oh yeah.
But it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Really. Like, why is that a big deal?
It isn't a big deal. And no, it's just like a bunch of kids. Yeah, come on, they're just having fun.
Yeah, and why can't they be? Why can't kids of all kinds be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They're turtles,
Yeah.
Why? Hey, I know that turtle is not the turtle I was expecting. Like, what were you expecting from a turtle exactly? Like, there's all kinds of people out there. There's all kinds of turtles out there. What do you mean? Like, so I don't know, man. Like, people will find reasons to make conflicts or whatever, and I think that's how I think it. But like, why does that happen? That's kind of like how subconscious and how insidious like discrimination and like supremacist ideas are. is that we don't even realize how much race and gender and stuff are coded into like how people talk and how anime characters are portrayed and stuff. And you might even say like there's even sometimes like, you know, sometimes even criticize how like people even criticize how people of color aren't even cast in like live action roles as much as like they might be cast in like animated roles. Like you know, there was like the discussion of Soul having like, you know, even though it was like a black American character who's like playing jazz and stuff, literally doing that, he turned into a blue guy for most of the movie and stuff. And sometimes there's more blue people in like anime films that are voiced by black people than there are actually black people with black and brown skin in animated films. So I don't know. That's the thing that comes up in a lot of movies. It's a huge criticism point.
You want to know my little Alexander Dumas from Django Unchained moment for TMNT history?
Okay, yeah. What about it?
Do you know that the original Shredder was played by Mr. Banks?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa. The original Shredder. So how do I look this up? TMNT 1980s?
1987, I think.
87. So IMDb 1987 and 1996. Yeah, look, they all look exactly the same character design here.
I feel like the characters were more distinct flow than in this one on the side though.
Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman.
Yeah, they get
creators.
And they get full credits and all the royalties.
Watch the evolution. So Donatello, Raphael, Rob Paulson
James
played
Avery.
Raphael. So yeah, James Avery played Shredder. Wow, he was the original Shredder. Oh, he was also in Connect Disneyland Adventures.
He has a very distinct voice. Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P. Wow, 2013.
Yeah.
Wow. 68 years old.
Yeah.
Man, Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil.
Yeah, sure is Uncle Phil. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think I just said Banks because like, that was one of my just talking about Mary Poppins.
I was just thinking about saving Mr. Banks. We just watched Mary Poppins clips last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it should be modernized. It's
not even that modernized.
It's
like,
not
the original Shredder was black.
Yeah, and they have an Asian Master Splinter. That's great. You know,
Yeah.
he's Chinese. He's not Japanese, but that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
It's Jackie Chan. It's an actual Asian person. Jackie Chan's been in a lot of animated roles lately. Not many, but he was in Kung Fu Panda series a bunch. Yeah. So, I'm trying to think of other ones, but that's the main thing. Kung Fu Panda's huge now.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh yeah. Also,
Jackie Chan's pretty high grossing. Yeah.
also hang out in the post credits. They hint at future movies. But yeah, PRpHD's summary here kind of captured it.
I forgot to write the rest of that. 2020 is like Tokusatsu or whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
So like,
On Amazon Prime or whatever.
so yeah, Miami Vice meets X-Men meets 2020's Tokusatsu, and yeah, maybe this is kind of like post BLM, kind of like New York City, kind of like if we're gonna discuss like people being othered and needing to prove themselves and stuff, like it's being discussed in something through the lens of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's kind of like, I don't know, I heard people criticize how Zootopia is different than like real life discrimination because humans are literally the same species, whereas like, you know, like in Zootopia they're literally different species. But I don't know, for the purposes of humanity and stuff, like if you're just a sentient speaking being, you're literally a person. So I don't know, there's another criticism there, but you know what I mean? I said a lot of different points at the same time. I could break it down.
I know, like it's like predators versus not predators.
Yeah, in
Zootopia.
In Zootopia, they had the distinction between predators and non-predators.
Yeah.
But in Zootopia, even though they're different species, they're basically all people. They all speak and think basically the way people do, so they're all people pretty much. And then mutants are literally the same thing as humans in this. even though like biologically they might be different, they're literally the same thing, like internally or whatever. So, but humans themselves are literally the same species. It's not even different. It's not even a big jump. In any way, shape, or form. So maybe that's kind of like
I
something
have
different
more of a
too.
complaint about how like Disney had Smash Mouth at Epcot.
Oh, oh yeah,
And,
you
like
want to talk about that?
than anything about like I don't know if we do have to, but
This
like
is my swamp.
they had just because you strike, yeah, Smash Mouth in the Sturgis rally, yes, where it was like COVID doesn't matter, go to the concerts. In the height of COVID.
Wait, so how does that tie to TMNT exactly?
I was just thinking about that because like I have more of an issue with that in Disney than Disney and Zootopia.
I see. Yeah, there's other things to worry about. I mean, like, I pretty much understand, like, okay, so they're not... I don't know, we get the idea. We get what they're going for. There's other things to worry about. I don't think people are going to be like, yeah, we're going to riot over Zootopia. It's like, this is like a flashpoint for, human rights or whatever. Like, we know what you're trying to do. It's like, yeah, these are not, like, huge... We're going to, like, get the pitchforks and torches out for this kind of thing.
Zootopia will be a very interesting review, and we already covered some of that in
Elemental review. Yeah. Elemental takes Zootopia to another step. It's like
it has too much customer service in that. I can't handle it no more.
Yeah, this movie has I don't know if it has customer service. I guess it has.
I don't know how the economy in this works. Yeah.
This has social media in it. This has social media
in it. It was like Ready Player One. Yeah. All they need is like some Twitch.
Yeah. They had TikTok in this.
Yeah.
They had going viral in this. April O'Neil was a journalist and stuff. A lot of this kind of does tie into like.
So I felt like Life is Strange actually. Yeah.
I mean, like the importance of like media portrayal is like kind of implicitly emphasized in this, like how they win people over. I don't think they get too deep into this, but like how they win people over is through the power of like how they're portrayed in media. Like April O'Neil's capabilities as a journalist is actually what saves the turtles in this movie, and that's kind of like similar to like why like different strategies during the 1960s civil rights movement was like, okay, we got to go where we're going to get the most media coverage. We got to go where there's going to be journalists and like television and radio broadcasters covering this story. And that was also important for like Gandhi and stuff like that. Like media is very important, but like they covered it in a very like simple way in a kids movie for this movie. But I don't know. That's also a part of this kind of. I don't know. It's like their way of like being represented, and but also filled with a bunch of action sequences. I don't know. There's a lot of different things you could dive into with this movie, but I don't think the movie itself tries to beg these things too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
You made this really good because like I just had to say my line at the end about PRpHD and that was it. But like you made this a really interesting review.
Yeah, and something maybe I'm just reading too much into things, but like I do wonder about how how in order to even just achieve equality for the turtles.
Yeah.
Like, they have to prove they're worthy and capable by literally saving the whole city? Really? Is that what they have to do?
I thought that was like... that was really weird.
But that's kind of... Sometimes that is a little bit how the world works. I just saw some...
Yeah, you saved their lives. You can't be mad. Like,
yeah.
It shouldn't be like the...
And they're literally on, like, the network news. On
New York City, like, supposedly is a melting pot or whatever. In real life, I don't think it's necessarily that true either.
It took them so much work for this to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if people necessarily...
They had to fight a giant, like, bug monster, and then they were getting blamed for it anyway.
What if there wasn't a bug monster? How would they achieve equality then?
I guess they would just never achieve it, yeah.
They have to do their really small daily deeds like the rest of us, just by...
They have to be like Spider-Man, one of those open-world Spider-Man games.
Just like, hey, here's your groceries. Ah, spider. Ah, turtle. I mean, like, I don't know. But then also I hear stories of, like, how, like, you know, one of the first women who wanted to compete in the Boston Marathon, they like didn't let her do it because they said the committee said women are not physiologically capable of doing it. So then she snuck into the marathon dressed in men's clothing, and she ran for a long time. And then eventually people got wise and figured it out. But all the other runners didn't care. They let her run. All the people in the audience didn't care. They let her run, and she got third place. And then that was the start of like how they started letting women into the Boston Marathon after that. But I don't know, man. Like I don't know. There's probably plenty of ordinary, average people who would have liked to at least participate in the Boston Marathon that wouldn't necessarily be able to be in third place or whatever. But it's just not an option to them. But sometimes it takes. I don't know. Yeah. That's always the kind of tricky thing. Is like how do you win things on a big scale? How do you win things on a small scale? Yeah, that's a huge topic in itself. All right, we're at 45 minutes. I don't know. Yeah, this movie is a light movie though. I feel like it prompts a lot of stuff. It prompted a lot of stuff in me, but I don't know if the movie gets too deep with any of it. But it's definitely there. And yeah, it's a light movie. You could enjoy it for its action and stuff, and you know
all the stuff we talked about that was not as light. Like you don't need to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. It's a pretty light movie. It's a pretty wholesome movie, even. And
it doesn't get hardly violent, like I said. With like thinking there would be invincible moments when there wasn't invincible moments.
That being
Even
said,
though like the studio is going to make an invincible movie.
That being said, like that character, was it Ice Cube who played the Superfly? Baxter Stockman.
Yeah.
He was pretty scary at certain points.
Yeah.
Like he was like he was ready to kill people.
And he could kill people. Yeah.
He was totally like, I'm gonna throw cars at you, like murder you, like not even as a joke. I'm not even. He's not joking around. He's like, you're in my way, and this is gonna happen. Like, you know. So that did get kind of scary, but but you understand his story. You understand why he did it.
Yeah.
You missed the beginning.
Which made it very interesting. Why made him as a very interesting, opposed to like a one-dimensional or two-dimensional character. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, and you know, it's like portraying the Magneto angle of things.
Yeah.
But you need that dynamic. Yeah. It's like
otherwise, like you'd be the rest of the franchise, and that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, this is like PG X-Men, you know. Yeah. So yeah. And and there's gonna be future movies. It seems like they're heavily implying that through the post credits.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So
there's gonna be a video game. Since we watched the movie, they announced that there's gonna be a video game coming out based on the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they already made Shredder's Revenge. Why not?
Yeah, so, it was a TMNT movie again.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I think this movie definitely dignifies or justifies or whatever.
Yeah.
Another TMNT boom. I think this was a great movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like 3 out of 4 stars for me or something.
Yeah.
So I give it a thumbs up. Light thumbs up. It's pretty light.
Thumbs up, yeah.
It's not like way up. It's like
it's not my favorite film of the year.
No,
it's not even my favorite animated film of the year. Yeah.
I think it's good to have.
It's probably my favorite TMNT thing ever.
I think it's pretty good to bring kids to this. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not too influenced by like whacking you with some nunchucks or something. But it's a fun movie. And
that's a big thing with TMNT earlier. Actually, they were afraid people were gonna replicate the moves like they did with like MMPR. Actually.
Yeah.
Especially in Nunchaku, like in certain depictions, you're not. I think in the next mutation, he might not have Nunchaku actually.
Right. Yeah. Right, but yeah, it's got a good message behind it. I think. Yeah. Overall, pretty light and good, fun movie. Good for the family. Good for bringing your parents, your grandparents, whoever, your kids, your grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's wrap it up here. Yeah. All right. So this was.
Let's wrap
it up here.
What we're doing now.
All right. This is Mudita Hart signing out.
It's PRpHD out.
All right. Happy watching.
Happy watching.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.